Disinformation never stops, and neither do we. Welcome to StopFake, the place where we set the record straight on fakes about Ukraine. I'm Marko Suprun. This week, StopFake debunks fake claims that Ukraine's autumn recruitment was a complete washout. We set the record straight about refugees that Russian media claims will be resettled from Bavaria to Ukraine. And we'll tell you why a new Ukrainian film is making the propaganda machine apoplectic. Let's get to the details. Pro-Kremlin media are ablaze with fakes declaring Ukraine's autumn recruitment campaign is a complete failure. Citing Ukraine's military Facebook page, they claim there is a 70% no-show rate. Although there have been some snags in the campaign, the Ukrainian military press service says the latest recruitment drive has been overwhelmingly successful. Russian site Tsargrad TV declares that Ukrainian recruits have died out. And RIA Novosti wrote, "Couch Army, Ukrainians massively evading recruitment." While Pravda writes ironically, the strongest army in the world can't find 70% of its recruits. Many declared the recruitment drive an utter failure before it even ended. Now, Ukraine's cabinet of ministers reports that the latest recruitment drive aimed to attract 12,460 persons for contractual military service, 2,000 more than in previous drives. According to the Ukrainian Land Forces press service, recruitment centers throughout the country report that goal has been met with 8,360 recruits going into the Ukrainian army, 3,500 into the National Guard, and 600 into a specialized transport military service. Contrary to Russian media reports about problems, snags, and washouts, the recruitment drive went very well as far as the Ukrainian military is concerned. Citing a Bavarian newspaper, last week scores of pro-Kremlin media claimed that Ukraine would accept 20,000 refugees instead of Germany, with headlines such as, "Why does Poroshenko need militants from Asia and Africa?" Referencing a German publication called Krakow News, Russian media claimed that by the end of 2018, Ukraine will accept no less than 20,000 refugees, most likely those who are currently in Bavaria. Now, this deal allegedly resulted from an agreement with Ukraine's Interior Ministry and its German counterpart. This fake began to be widely republished in Russian media during the recent EU Eastern Partnership Summit at the end of November. The Eastern Partnership is a European Union program launched in 2009 in the framework of the European Neighborhood Policy involving Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine. But Krakow News is neither Bavarian nor is it a newspaper. It's an open internet portal based in the Baden-Württemberg area, and anyone can post information there. A user calling herself Kirsten Newman, who wrote the article that Russian media cite, registered with Krakow News one day before publishing her fake story on November 1st. Replying to StopFake's inquiry about these claims, Ukraine's Interior Ministry confirmed that German diplomat Dorothea Techovsky, who specializes in human rights, recently presented a human rights project in Kyiv aimed at fostering tolerance towards refugees in Ukraine. All other claims about refugees are patently false, the ministry said. While Ukraine is actively cooperating with Germany on human rights issues, there is no agreement between Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko and German Chancellor Angela Merkel regarding refugees. And finally, let's talk film. A new Ukrainian film about the battle for Donetsk airport, which is beating box office and attendance records in Ukraine, has attracted the ire of Russian propaganda media, who are positively apoplectic in their condemnation of the film. Cyborgs is the story of the 2014 battle by vastly outnumbered and outgunned Ukrainian forces for the beleaguered Donetsk airport, almost completely surrounded by Russian soldiers and their proxies. Many Ukrainian soldiers died because they refused to yield their positions. It is one of the first Ukrainian feature films to deal with the war in eastern Ukraine, and viewers are flocking to it. Cyborgs, a word which has become synonymous with bravery and endurance in battle, was first coined about Ukrainian soldiers who were protecting the Donetsk airport from Russians and their supported separatists. These aren't people, they are cyborgs, a separatist allegedly said, describing the superhuman-like resilience of Ukrainian soldiers who simply refused to stop fighting. The Donetsk airport was a source of pride for eastern Ukraine. Its complete renovation and overhaul in time for the Euro 2012 football championship turned a provincial Soviet-style airport into a modern and promising travel hub. After the last Ukrainian soldiers withdrew, all they left was a hulking carcass of twisted steel and broken masonry. Although the film beat all box office records during its first weekend showing, pro-Kremlin site Ukraina.ru laments the state funds spent on making the film and claims that students are being bussed en masse to see it. Cinemas which don't want to show the film are threatened and harassed, Ukraina.ru claims. Some hit, only 6 people came to see Cyborgs, Ukraina.ru claims in another of its fake articles, while Life refers to the film as commerce without conscience and criticizes the telecommunications company Kyivstar for sponsoring the film. Another publication claims that 2 theaters in western Ukraine are refusing to show the film altogether. Now, according to Ukraine State Cinema Corporation, in its first weekend screening in Ukraine, Cyborgs took in 8,186,402 hryvnia, about $300,000, beating out the World War II blockbuster Dunkirk. Media watch site Telekritika writes that Cyborgs has so far beaten all records for Ukrainian film distribution and box office intake. As for those 2 theaters in western Ukraine who allegedly refused to show the film, one is closed for renovation, while the other will begin screening the film next week. Oh, and that first screening that supposedly only attracted 6 viewers? Well, it was in Mariupol, a city that's roughly 20 kilometers from the front line, and the showing was completely sold out. The film was given a rousing standing ovation, as you can see from Ukrainian press agency reports. That's it for this week. Our website, StopFake.org, has much more dissected disinformation, so please be sure to check it out. Be vigilant. Fakes are lies, and lies mess you up, so keep your truth meter well oiled. If you spot any disinformation about Ukraine, send it to us for a truth autopsy. I'm Marko Suprun, and this is StopFake. See you next week.